Hey everyone, Dennis Kaye here with Belize Islands Real Estate. Hope you all are doing well today. Hey, listen, I just had a really good a phone call, or rather a Zoom call, with some potential clients of mine living up in Edmonton, Canada. And the topic came up about investing in Belize real estate for the financial return. And we talked about several different things, such as operating Airbnb, some sort of rental units, to investing in vacant land, selling the land with seller financing. But one of the topics that we touched on was filling a real need in the market on Ambergris Caye, and that is offering single family homes with seller financing. Now, you can spend, and I encourage you to do this, go to different websites, and you're going to be able to find land for sale with seller financing. That's not too difficult to come by. You may be able to find a few select condos here and there with seller financing. But one of the things that is very, very difficult to find is any sort of single family homes with seller financing. They just don't exist on Ambergris Caye and in Belize in general. Most people that have single family homes on the market are selling them in order to get that money and then go and do something else with. So maybe they're getting out of the market completely, or maybe they're going to use those funds to buy a home somewhere else, wherever their next adventure might be. And so for that reason, most people who are selling their single family homes on Ambergris Caye, and first of all, there aren't too many available at that, but most of them are looking for cash deals only. So this is where some of my investors can come in and fill this need in the market. And here are my top 5 things that you might want to take into consideration if you have some capital to invest. What you might do, things you might look for when offering a single family home with seller financing. Now, first of all, what you could do is just find someone who is willing to sell their home at a really good value, and then go ahead, buy that, put it in your name or in your company name, put it back on the market with seller financing. But what I think there is a better return in is actually finding a piece of vacant land, having a home built with the sole idea that you're going to put this back on the market and offer it to people with seller financing. So here are some things to think about. Number one, you're going to want to consider the location. The location where you actually build your home needs to be a location where people actually want to live or want to buy into. All right. So, and it also kind of goes hand in hand with your own personality. So for some of you, that location might be the Secret Beach area. You might feel very strongly about the potential in that area. So you're saying to yourself, you know what, if I buy a nice lot, vacant lot around the Secret Beach area, go ahead and build maybe one of those simple Belizean hardwood homes, get it outfitted with some solar and some rainwater cisterns for water, and kind of make the yard look really nice, put that back in the market. I'm comfortable dealing with the Secret Beach area because I see the vision. Others of you might want something on the east side of the island. Maybe you're looking for something that has access to current electricity, a wired cable, and internet, things like that. And so for you guys, maybe something around the Habaneros area. In fact, I have a really nice second row lot up in Habaneros. It's an oversized lot. You could buy something like that and then build a home on there and offer that with seller financing. So basically, you pick an area where you're fairly certain somebody's going to want to buy your lot and house package together with seller financing. All right, so consider the location. Number two, consider the style of home and the construction materials that you want to use. So here's where you need to be careful. You don't want to build a too expensive of a home. Why not? Well, let's say you buy, or excuse me, you get a really nice piece of land, maybe a beachfront property, and now you build a custom beachfront home and you have several $100,000 into it. Well, if I'm a client, if I'm a buyer from the US or Canada, and I'm in the market for a, $800,000 home up to $1.2 million home, I'm going to tend to be extremely, not picky is not the word, but I'm going to want exactly what I want if I'm shelling out that kind of money, even if I'm looking for some financing on the deal, right? I'm going to want everything to be exactly what I want. Now, if I'm looking for more of a simple home, a simple retirement home, a simple vacation home for me and my family to use, then one of those Belizean hardwood homes or a very small but well-designed concrete home might be something I'm looking for. And if I can pick that up, say in the 200, 250, 350 range, I'm going to be very happy with that. So what I'm trying to say here is don't overbuild on the property, but offer a very nice quality product. So a nicely designed, very well built quality home. You might even furnish it, offer some very nice landscaping. So when your new buyers pull up to the property, they immediately see themselves living there, making memories, enjoying the island life in this home. The third thing you should look at, and of course this probably should go up to number one and even before number one, is how much capital you have to invest. Because remember, you are funding this entire deal. So you're buying the land, you're closing on the land, you're working with the builder, you're building, getting the house built, you're hooking up the utilities, right? So if the area that we're building in has electricity, you might need to have a transformer installed. If it's not, you're going to have to be, go completely off grid, like over at Secret Beach. So, where are you at in terms of capital investment? How much money do you have to put into this project, right? From them, you can a little bit more choose your location and style of home, but those kind of the top three things all go into it. Now, number four, you need to consider the selling price. And again, what you want to do is offer the best quality package you can, but at the lowest price. Why? It's going to open up your pool of buyers, right? So you can imagine if you have a house in the market for 500,000 and you're offering financing on it, the pool of people who are looking to invest that much money is maybe this big. Whereas if you keep the price more reasonable, say 200, 225, 250, 300, something like that, you're going to open up the number of buyers that are qualified to purchase that property. And you're going to be able to sell it that much quicker. But also consider this. Don't just consider what you have into it. So yes, you have the land, you have your closing cost, you have your build, but also when you have now a completed house ready to sell, there are a lot of there's a lot of inherent value in that sitting there as a finished product, right? So you've taken the time over the last 6 months to work with the designer, to work with the builder. Maybe you've made a couple trips down. So all that goes into it. And really, these are expenses that a builder of any house would have to pay. So you want to make sure you recoup these expenses. So keep track. How many times did you fly down? Keep track of how many hours you spent on it. And then what I would do too is absolutely set aside a nice little budget for offering the house furnished. Again, you don't have to go fancy, but what I would do is I would work with some of the island's top furniture builders, have some really nice hardwood beds made, some dining room tables, put some artwork on the walls, at least get it ready to be used, right? And of course, your new buyer can always put their finishing touches on it, but you want to really offer a beautiful, nice package because your reputation is on the line, right? So consider all that, and then consider, okay, once I do this, then am I going to add on a little bit of a profit margin, which is what most people would do, all right, because you're doing this to make money, right? So you're doing this as an investment, but how much is that actually going to be on top of your capital investment? Is it going to be an extra 5%, 10%, 15, 20? What is that number going to be in terms of actual profit? Taking into consideration that you're offering this home for sale with seller financing, right? So then it comes down to I guess I got two number fives there, or two number fours. So the next point should be number five, your terms. What are you looking at? Now with land, I'm known to sometimes go with $0 down or $1,000 down or something like that, 5-10% on my own properties. Why? Well, because there's very little a person could do after buying the property to devalue the land itself. In fact, what I often have in my contracts is a clause that states that while a person is buying a property from me on a financing deal with a piece of land, I often will let them do certain things like fill the property, survey it, build a fence. But if they want to go vertical with something, for example, build a home, I always have them show me first if they have enough money to complete the deal. Why? Well, let's say I'm selling a $100,000 lot and they've already got $5,000 down and they're financing with me. And now all of a sudden they want to start to build. So maybe they have their builder show up, they put some septic in the ground, they get some footings, they start to build. What happens then if something goes wrong and they default? And now I get the land back with this half-finished home that I need to now pay money to have removed. So it devalues the land. So with land, I will often have them, either pay off a certain percentage of the land, maybe that's 25, 50%, whatever it may be, depending on the land, or at least show me that they have the funds needed to complete the project. But with a house, now that's different. So for example, with a home, I would actually probably ask for a larger down payment, right? So a person has more invested in the asset itself. So 20%, 25%, 30% down. I don't think that's unreasonable for someone to walk up to a fully furnished, ready to move into home, pay 25, 30% down, and then finance the balance. But you need to see what you're comfortable with in those terms. For your down payment, the balloon payment, here's another thing, balloon payment. On land, some of my land deals, I'll go 15, 20, 30 years on land. I don't think you want to offer a 30-year loan on a home. There's just too much that can go wrong in the meantime that could potentially devalue the property. So for example, what I would do is I would offer the home for sale, 25% down, 10% interest on the balance for a 10-year loan. So start off with a 10-year mortgage. But then I would look for a potential buyer that says, you know what, I'll go with a 10-year mortgage, but in the next 3 to 5 years, I plan on selling my primary home in the States or Canada, and then with that money paying off the property. So maybe you go with a balloon payment of say 3 years or 5 years or 7 years. And I think there's some safety in that, both for you and the new buyer. First of all, for you as the seller, most people would take care of the asset, right, while it's under financing. But what happens if all of a sudden your new buyer falls on hard times, they're not able to get down to Belize, they let the house sit vacant, something happens to the house, it gets deteriorated in value, the roof leaks or something like that, and now all of a sudden you have inherited back by default this devalued home, right? So for that, I would offer the potential to put in the contract some basic maintenance that could be done on the home. So for example, you could write in there that, if it's a wooden home, every so many years while the contract is in place, the home would need to be inspected, I would say by a third party builder, or it would need to be, let's say, repainted once every, I don't know how many years, just so that the value of the home stays current with the loan. Also, insurance. I would require that insurance is kept up on the home, and maybe that insurance policy is paid for by me, the seller, but that's an expense that's reimbursed every year by the new buyer. Property tax is the same thing, because what you want to do is you want to make this a win-win for everyone involved. You want to offer a nice product. You as an investor want to make a good financial return on it, and you want your new buyer to be happy with it, and you want to mitigate any sort of potential problems in the future, so that at the end of the deal, when the home is paid off, when it's completely said and done, all parties are happy, and then you can go on to the next deal. So here's my top 6 things, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 5, 6, that I would consider. But again, this is a market that's not being serviced at all on Ambergris Caye. There are no developers that I know of offering single-family homes with seller financing, and these just do not exist en masse. So even myself, I do mainly vacant land. Most of my clients do vacant land. It's easy, but if you want to give us a go, I think it's a good way to go ahead and invest. So let me know if you have any comments, questions, concerns on this. And I think it's a good deal for somebody to sort of get into this business. It does take some capital investment, but if you have some capital to invest, I think it's a good way to go. And maybe you can start offering the service, because like I said, a lot of my clients, if they're looking for an existing home, if they don't have the capital to invest right now, they just can't buy. And there you go. All right. Thanks, guys. Again, just for reference sake, this video is published on Sunday, December 5th. Hope you are doing well, and I hope to see all of you down in Belize real soon.